At it.
Thank you, Miss Gina. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day one of our Spring into Oz. I'm very excited. This is I think, our third or fourth year of Spring into an Epic Adventure for our summer fun. And I have so much fun every year because I get to dress up, even though my kids have made fun of my outfit today. I don't think that was very polite. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss Dachelle. We have Miss Gina, who is dressed at, what are you dressed as, Miss Gina?
Toto. I'm Toto.
No, no, I'm sorry, Toto.
I got
It's
little
kind of hard to
curls.
tell. I'm Dorothy too. And then we at the bottom of your screen, we have Miss Alicia and Miss Olivia, who are Auntie M and Uncle Henry. Aren't they
Uncle
adorable?
Henry. I ain't really smoking. It's bad for you.
Yeah, don't really smoke.
In fact, I taped it because I didn't want to put my mouth on my son's Sherlock Holmes pipe.
See, we are so good at costuming up that we have multiple costumes we can use for all sorts of things. All right. Well, I'm glad you joined us today. Here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to start with Poetry Tea Time. Then we're going to move to Miss Gina for music. And then we're going to move to the lovely Miss Alicia and Olivia for art. So are you guys ready to get started? If you are, pop in the chat where you're from and say hello so we can say hello to everybody today. And I'm going to take off the spotlight so that Miss Gina and Miss Olivia and Alicia can do other things while I'm talking about Poetry Tea Time. Okay, so for those of you who've never been part of our Poetry Tea Times, oh, they are my favorite thing in the world, I'll just have to say. Poetry Tea Time is a fun time where we get together and we drink some tea. So I have my tea and I have my teapot, trying to go for the posy look today. You may notice some witch's feet over there. Notice there's no shoes because she doesn't have her shoes anymore. And we drink our tea and we read poetry and we write poetry. Now, today there's a lot of you, so I can't really let everybody read some poetry. So today I'm going to read the poetry, but we're still going to write poetry because that's fun. And hello, everybody. Ooh, South America. We got some people from far away here. Maryland, South Carolina, Arizona. Ooh, it's South Carolina. I was just there yesterday. I'm back in Tennessee, as you may tell. Alabama, Missouri. We got people from all over. Welcome, everybody. So there are some giveaways at the end of the day. So make sure you pay attention to know what you need to answer, what question you need to answer so that you can be entered in the giveaway. Today, Miss Gina of Music in Our Homeschool is going to be giving away the giveaway, and she's going to share that with you. Okay. You may have heard a storm outside just now. I don't know if you can hear the big thunder, but if you didn't, my dog is letting us know that there's a big storm outside. So let's hope we don't get a twister like Dorothy had. I'm going to have a sip of tea now. Okay. So today I am reading from the book, The Poetry Book of Oz. See all my little clips there? Because you know, a good poetry person has little things to show all their favorite poetry. But I'm going to be reading from the Poetry Book of Oz, and that'll be a giveaway later on this week. Here's my poem. Are you ready? Dorothy Gale was aptly named. Her rival by storm is her claim to fame. Her house whirled and twirled and fell like a rock. To appear in Oz was such a shock. Dorothy's only chance to get back home to the Emerald City they said to roam and follow a road of yellow brick to secure the magic of a wizard's tricks. Okay, that's our poem today. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different types of things that are in that poem, and then I'm going to let you guys write one. So if you got our email yesterday, you should have gotten a little printable in it, or today too. And if you didn't, I will grab that real quick so that you can, I'll put it in the chat here. Oops, to everybody, not to just Miss Gina. And then you can grab it if you want to and print it out. But you don't have to. You can use just regular paper if you want to. Okay. So this kind of poetry is called narrative poetry. Now, narrative poetry, that kind of sounds, I don't know, like a big word that says something big and important, but all it really means is it's telling a narrative. It means it's telling a story. So it's telling us about Miss Dorothy Gale, who was aptly named because Gale, and it's telling about her story, how she ends up in Oz and how she's got to go find the wizard so that she can get back home, and how along the way she's going to follow this yellow brick road and she's going to maybe meet some friends or something along the way. If you haven't read the book, I'm not gonna spoil that for you. Okay, so that is what a narrative poem is. Now, you can write a narrative poem any way you want. as I always say, there are rules to poetry and there are no rules to poetry, which makes no sense. But there are no rules to poetry unless there are rules to poetry. So in this sense, there's a rule to poetry. If you write a narrative poem, it has to tell a story. Now, not all poems tell a story. Sometimes they can just be something you're feeling or emotion, and that's okay. But a narrative poem just has to tell a story. It doesn't have to rhyme, doesn't have to really do anything else. It just has to tell a story. Also, we'll notice if you look in there, there's a rhyme scheme. So let's listen to see if you can tell me what the rhyme scheme is. If you know, pop it in the chat. Dorothy Gale was aptly named. Her arrival by storm is her claim to fame. Her house whirled and twirled and fell like a rock. To appear in Oz was such a shock. So, oh, good, Leah. Yes, it's AABB. That's our rhyme scheme. So what Leah means when she says AABB is that the first two lines are A, which means they rhyme with each other, and the second two lines are B, which means they rhyme with each other. So named and fame rhyme, and rock and shock. In the second stanza, we see Dorothy's only chance to get back home to the Emerald City, they said to roam. So home and Rome are going to rhyme there. And follow a road of yellow brick to secure the magic of a wizard's tricks. So brick and trick rhymes there. Now, you don't have to have an AABB rhyme scheme. You can do an ABAB or an ABAC, whatever you want to do, just as long as it keeps up the pattern with every single stanza. So if you look at like people like Shakespeare, he had some really fun rhyme schemes. And so that may be several lines that don't rhyme, and then all of a sudden a line rhymes, and then several lines, and then so it might be like 5 rhymes or something like that. And all that is perfectly fine because as long as you keep the same rhyme scheme. Remember, there are no rules unless there's rules. Okay? All right. So the next thing we have in is imagery and mood. So what I want everybody to do now is I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to listen to me as I read the poem. And I want you to kind of imagine what it looks like in your eyes. If you've already seen the movie, try to just get that all out of your head and think of it as if it was happening to you. And right now it's not very hard because it is really coming a downpour outside. Okay. Dorothy Gale was aptly named. Her arrival by storm is her claim to fame. Her house whirled and twirled and fell like a rock. To appear in Oz was such a shock. Dorothy's only chance to get back home to the Emerald City, they said to roam, and follow a road of yellow brick to secure the magic of a wizard's tricks. So tell me in the chat, what did you see? Tell me one thing you saw when you had to close your eyes and hear me read the poem. I'll give you a second. Sarah says a tornado. Okay, definitely a tornado. Seeing her house whirl and twirl. And you notice it doesn't really say there's a tornado, but we know by the whirling and the twirling that that's a tornado. Clouds with lightning. Yes, and I'm actually seeing those outside right now. Oh, sad Dorothy. Yeah, because think about it. If she was up in the house and away from all her family, doesn't know what's going to happen, I bet she was very sad. This is what we mean by imagery. When you close your eyes and you think about what the poem is saying to you, and you see those visuals in your eyes, that's called imagery. The house falling down fast like a rock. Yeah, that wouldn't be pleasant either. But it would have landed on the evil queen's, evil witches, not evil, evil witch. I'm back to the last summer again. Legs, and maybe he killed her. So that's what we call by imagery. And the mood, if you listen, what kind of mood do you think it is? Do you think it's a happy mood, a sad mood, a scary mood? What are you feeling like? Uh-oh, I've got a whiteboard popping up. I don't know how I got a whiteboard popping up. I don't have a whiteboard. I don't know where that came from. Thank you, Miss Gena, for taking that down. Okay, don't add any whiteboards, people. Okay, so what kind of unsuspecting? Oh, I like that. You don't really know. Sad and scary. That's good. I like that. Sad and scary. Yeah, I'd definitely be sad and scary because think about it, she's all alone by herself. Well, she has Toto, but she's all alone by herself and she doesn't know what's going to happen. So very scary. Dorothy looking out of the window of the house and all. Yeah, can you imagine looking out of the window as you're twirling around? Mysterious. Good. Hey, guys, you guys are really doing Oh, I like this. The unknown. Yeah, how would the unknown make you feel? Maybe anxious? I can feel my heart rate going up because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little scared, a little nervous about that. Okay. And then let's think about the focus of the story. So we've got who? Who are we learning about? Are we learning about Toto? Are we learning about the Scarecrow? The Tin Winsman? No, we're learning about Dorothy in this point. It's all about her. So this one's just about her. Okay. Now, you guys were so good about telling me that the rhyme scheme was AABB. But did you also notice there were 4 lines? So there are 4 lines in each stanza. And that is called a quatrain. Has anybody ever heard of quattro or quatra, depending on what language you learned? But you'll notice that quad usually means 4 of something. So you might have a quadrilateral, which is like a rectangle or a square, and it has 4 sides. On a quatrain, you have 4 lines. So you just learned what a quatrain is. And then you learned this rhyme scheme, which is AABB. So today what we're going to do is we're going to write our very own quatrain. So if you have the printable, pull it out. If you don't, just grab some paper and a pencil. And we're going to start writing a quatrain. And I even brought my paper and a pencil with me because I do not believe in telling you to write a poem unless I'm also writing a poem. So we're all going to write poems. So what I want you to do is I want you to think. First of all, we're going to think. We're not going to write anything down. We're going to think about what is something I'd want to write about. So I could write about Dorothy, like this poem did. I could write about my dog that will not stop barking because she's scared of the storm. I could write about the chair sitting over here. I could write about anything I want to. But think about something you want to write about. And it doesn't have to be a real thing. It doesn't have to be something that's alive. It can be anything you want. So that's your first job. Think about what you want to write about. Okay. What is this thing doing? Or where did it go? Or what's happening with it? So think about that. What can you have it do? And it's okay if it's something that is not real. Like let's say it's this teapot. And I'm going to bring this teapot to life. And I'm going to have it go on a journey. I can do that because it's a poem. I can do whatever I want to. There are no rules. The only rules we have is 4 lines and a rhyme scheme. So think about what you want to do, what you want to have. All right, I'm brainstorming. I think the teapot sounds like a good idea. I'm going to see if I can write a poem about a teapot. So I'm going to write at the top of mine, teapot. Okay, now I want to think about some things that rhyme because we're writing a quatrain that rhymes. So I need some words that rhyme. Okay, well, I'm going to write about this teapot, and I'm just going to think about words that might have to do with the teapot. So like tea, and I could rhyme tea with me. Tea me, tea see, tea, I don't know. I'm running out of things there. Okay, pot. I could rhyme that with not. What other things can I come up with? Can anybody else come in? Oh, bee. Good one, Taylor and Rose. Oh, bee for tea and hot. Oh, hot. Why did I not think of that one, Brittany? The teapot is hot. That's a good one. All right, so I can come up with that. Tree. Ooh, tree and tea. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to jot me down some more. Spot. I like spot too. Spot of tea. Okay, now I want you to do that for yours. Whatever you're thinking of, you're going to write about, think of some words that might go with it and what a word or 2 that might rhyme. And you're just going to jot them down in that little circle on your paper. I failed to print out my paper. Sorry about that, guys. But you're going to print that out on your little, write that out, or just write it in a circle on your paper. Okay. Okay. Now, I want to write a quatrain. So a quatrain has 4 lines. So I can either do the following. I can write out on my paper if I want to, lines and put AABB next to it, or I can change up the rhyme scheme. I can do AB, AB. So I could say tea, then pot, then me, then not. Or I could do something different. What kind of rhyme scheme do you going to use? AABB, ABAB? What do you think? Or maybe even a AABC. Throw it off a little bit. You can do that. We have no rules in poetry. Okay. Those are good ones. You guys are doing good. Okay, so think about what you want to do. Now, we're going to take 2 minutes because that's all I got left. 2 minutes to write our poem. And you can keep writing if you want to. But I want you to at least give me some ideas of what you're writing about. So if you haven't written it already, pop in the group chat what you're going to write about. You know I'm going to write about a teapot. So I'm going to have to think about that one, teapot. And I want it to be 4 lines. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 on my paper. And I think I'm going to do A, B, A, B. I just kind of like A, B, A, B. I think that's a more fun. All right. So the Stormroad family, they're using A, A, B, B. Dorothy, a horse. I like a horse. A jungle. Oh, I like that. A sunflower. A cat dragon. River, I can't wait to hear about the cat dragon. Dorothy, A-B. Okay, wait, sorry. They're going so fast. About I don't even know what that is. A Fasamid. We're going to have to share that with us later. About life. Oh, that's going to be a good poem. About stars. Let's see, did I miss one? A pug. Oh, cute. A scarecrow. That really fits in with their theme, does it? Your dog. So I have 3 dogs, and they're all outside right now throwing a hissy fit. If you're not from Tennessee, that means they're acting ugly. My daughter's trying to corral them because they're very upset that the storm is out there. Something about Dorothy? Go for it, Leah. Let's see what else. Did I miss anybody else's? Okay, Dapper, your dog. A lot of dogs. See, those are fun to write about. Okay, work on those. And if you want to share them in the chat while we're doing the rest of things, feel free to share them. We love to read your poetry. But we're almost time for Miss Gena right now. So I'm going to come to a little bit of a close. And I'm going to tell you that I am so excited you showed up today. And I hope you come tomorrow and Wednesday for our poetry tea time. We'll be doing more poetry like this. If you grab the printable, you'll see what we're doing the next 2 days if you want to get a head start on it. And then we're going to go into summer lit camp and we're going to read The Wizard of Oz and we're going to meet every week for fun like this, a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but we'll go about an hour and we're going to do some activities. So it'll be fun. So if you want to join us, I'll be popping the link in the chat in a little bit. And you can use the coupon code LIVE because you showed up live to get 20% off for your family. Your mom will love that. All right, so I'm going to add Miss Gena into the spotlight now. Let's see if I can do that easy. Look at me go. Hello, Miss Gena.
Hello.
And so what are we going to be talking about today, Miss Gena?
Today we're going to be talking about one of the best songs ever written, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is a classic song from The Wizard of Oz.
I love that one. That is the favorite. And I love it, the Hawaiian version one.
I have that on my playlist.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so Miss Gena, what are you doing this summer? I just told everybody what I was doing summer lit camp. What are you up to?
Yeah, so my membership has some really fun things going on this summer. Some different music lessons we're going to present live and some paintings we're going to do. So you can see everything over at musicinourhomeschool.com/membership. And if you want to get a course instead, there's a coupon code SUMMER25.
Awesome. And I will add that link when I have mine. So,
Thanks.
all right, I'm going to hand it over to you, Miss Gena.
All right. I also have some printables if you all would like to get this. It was in your email, but you could also find it at musicinourhomeschool.com/Oz printables. And today we're going to be doing the first one in the pack, which looks like this. It has the lyrics to the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then it has a picture of a rainbow on there. And I'm dressed like Toto today, if you didn't notice. And if you've never met me before, my name is Gena Mayo, and I've run Music in Our Homeschool. This is our 10th year, so I'm excited to be celebrating our 10th anniversary. All right, so Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I want to tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to listen to it, and then to talk about more about the lyrics of it and some different musical features about the song. But the song was written back in the 1930s when the movie was going to be coming out, and it was written by composer Harold Arlen and lyricist Yip Harbung. So a composer is a person that writes the actual music, and a lyricist writes the words. So sometimes you have a composer or a person that focuses on one more than the other, and then they'll team up and they'll work together on writing a song. Other times, the one person will do both. Like we'll be talking about Stephen Schwartz on Wednesday. He was the composer and lyricist for the movie or the musical Wicked. So we'll talk about that one on Wednesday. He did both. But for the Wizard of Oz songs, we had a different composer and lyricist. And so one of the great songs that they wrote was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I would say that most people would agree that it's probably one of the top 100 songs ever written, the top favorite song. I mean, it's one of those, it's way up there. It's a loved song and has been for almost 100 years. So usually what they would do, Harbung and Arlen would do when they were writing a song, is that Harbung would suggest an idea or a title, and then Arlen would start working on the music to it. And then after the music was written, the lyricist would come back and he would write the words. So that's kind of how their teamwork worked. And what they wanted to do for this song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, was write a ballad. A ballad is a song that's kind of slow and quiet and meaningful, and often it's telling some type of story in it. And in the story, they wanted to show this little girl who was in trouble and she wanted to get away. And where did she live? She lived in Kansas. And the way that they were depicting Kansas is that it was a dry, arid, and colorless place. And the only thing that she had ever seen that had color was the rainbow. So she's dreaming of going over the rainbow to a place where things were happier, because she was not happy where she was at this point. And so this song won an Academy Award, an Oscar for Best Original Song, after the movie appeared in 1939. And then that song became Judy Garland's signature song. So she was the one that played Dorothy in the movie. And she was a singer, of course, because The Wizard of Oz is a musical. But she would also sometimes sing in concerts. And every single time she did a concert, people wanted to hear her sing The Wizard of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And she did it for 30 years. And she said that she never changed the way she did it. She did it exactly the way she did it in the movie, because she knew that was what people wanted. That was the way they wanted to hear her sing it. And so that's what she did. So I want to look at this page here now. We're going to listen to the song, Judy Garland's version. Oh, and I also wanted to say one more thing about it, that, let me find that. In 1981, that exact record, the very first record that was printed of her singing the song, the 1939 Decca gramophone of her, that song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. So that'd be kind of fun if you ever get to go there to see that record. So let's look at this page, and you can follow along the words as we listen. You'll notice that the very first thing is up here. It says intro, so the introduction. You will not hear her sing the introduction in this version because they took that out of the movie to shorten it. Not everything that was written is in the movie. But if you ever see a stage production of The Wizard of Oz, which I was just involved in a couple of months ago, my kids did The Wizard of Oz, the person that plays Dorothy usually will sing the introduction. So you'll see it says intro there, but she will start on verse 1. And the way the form works for this song is there's not really a chorus. A lot of times songs have verses and then a chorus that keeps coming back. But this one will have just verse 1, then verse 2, then a bridge, then verse 3, and then what's called an outro, which is the opposite of an intro. It's an extra thing. Sometimes people call it a tag that happens at the end. So let me also tell you about the prize that I'm going to be giving away. I have a music box of Somewhere Over the Rainbow that's going to be given out. So we're going to listen to Judy Garland's version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but then we're going to hear two other versions, Tony Bennett and Israel, and I cannot say his last name, Israel the Hawaiian. I guess I'll just say that because he was Hawaiian. We'll hear his version. And I want you to tell me which one is your favorite. After we've heard some of all three of the songs, you can write which one's your favorite. And Miss Dachelle is going to randomly pick one of the answers to win the prize. Okay, so here is Judy Garland's version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
That you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't
So that is a beautiful song. Hopefully you guys have heard that before, but if you haven't, now you know the sound Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Such a beautiful song. Okay, now we're going to listen to Tony Bennett's version, which will sound quite different. If you want to, you can color your rainbow while you are listening. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I do have a playlist link that you can go to hear all the songs we're going to be using today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm still working on some of the Wednesday ones. You can find that at musicinourhomeschool.com/Oz playlist. So here is Tony Bennett's version, and you will hear the introduction for this one and let you tell me what was different about those two versions. Judy Garland's version from the movie and Tony Bennett's version. What were some things that were different? You could type it into the chat. He was more jazzy, definitely. So his was in a jazz style. Hers was a musical theater style. Yeah, everyone's saying jazzy. And what makes it jazzy? It's the instruments, it's the speed, it's the syncopation, which means that not everything's right on the beat. He was doing some offbeat stuff. She was calmer. Yes, his was faster. His had swing. Swing also means syncopated, more upbeat melody, the tempo and singing style. Hers was soft and slow. And then you said that his had new verses. It had that introduction. Yes, very good. Okay, now we're going to listen to another version, which, so his was around in the 40s, hers was in the 30s, and now we're doing another version that happened later on in the 1900s. And this one's by Israel, let me see if I can say his name, Kamakawiwololi. Sorry, I can't pronounce Hawaiian very well. So see what you think about this one. Again, very different.
Okay, this one's for Gabby.
Okay, and it keeps going, so you can listen to it with the playlist that was shared a few minutes ago. I already see some people saying which one they like the best. It says this version's a little more meditative feeling. It's more relaxing. A lot of people love this version the best, but I'm seeing some people that like Judy's or Tony's more too. I like them all. They're so different. It's all the same beautiful lyrics, the feel of being over the rainbow and the dreams that come with that. But they give you a different feel. Like Tony Bennett's is great to dance to. Judy's is so classic that it just gives you the feeling of if you've seen the movie or you understand the story and how wonderful it is to accept that home is where your dreams are and you don't have to leave. So that's part of the theme of the story. So a lot of people are saying they like, someone asked about the ukulele too. Yeah, isn't that so fun to have this one with the ukulele? And that it did get popular. A lot of people wanted to learn to play it when it came out. All right, you can keep answering for a few more minutes about which was your favorite. So Miss Dachelle can randomly pick the winner. And then I will need your address, and it will have to be a U.S. address. And I don't think it even can be Alaska or Hawaii. So a continental U.S. address in order to send the prize to you of Somewhere Over the Rainbow music box Tomorrow, we'll be talking about recurring themes in musicals. And then on Wednesday, we'll be talking about, actually, I can't remember which is which. We'll be talking about Stephen Schwartz, who was the composer for Wicked. So thanks for joining me, you all. And I will turn it back over to Dachelle, who will introduce the next lesson.
I realized I was muted. Wasn't that fun? Okay, I'm gonna have to tell you, my favorite is the Israel version 2.
That's a
We
hard
use that.
name.
I know, I did. And when we went to Hawaii, I think they have what, 11 letters in their alphabet, so everything is like come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I love that. That was my favorite. Thank you so much, Miss Gena. And I'm going to now remove your spotlight and add in. Okay, here we go. Add spotlight. Miss Alisha and Olivia. While you guys keep putting in the comments your favorites, and I'm writing them all down, and I'm gonna do a quick check. So at the end of the art lesson, I will tell you who won today. But I am going to introduce you to, if you don't already know, the wonderful Miss Alicia and her lovely daughter Olivia, and they are at Masterpiece Society. And we're going to be doing some awesome emerald art. I'm very excited. I wish I had brought my supplies so I could be doing it. So I'm going to have to watch this on replay so that I can do my art supplies too. But ladies, tell us what's going on with you guys right now and what's happening this summer.
Well, we last year retired from our art ventures. So we don't have a special Wizard of Oz painting party thing. But what we are doing is opening up the Masterpiece Society studio, and everyone who is a member gets exclusive access to our past 4 art ventures, which is Art Venture to Neverland,
Wonderland, Middle Earth, and Narnia.
there you go. So we're opening up that. And then also, Olivia and my daughter-in-law, Abby, put together a Wizard of Oz party guide. And inside that, and here, this is what we're going to look like very soon. This is,
Love it. I love it.
I was trying to look really weird, and I did. But this has fun party recipes. We have we did a little bit of what we used to do with Art Venture, find your over the rainbow name. We have a bingo game. We have a scavenger hunt. And this is normally $10, but while Olivia is painting, I will get a coupon code for anyone who wants it today to get it for $5. So I will put that in later. But first of all, I want to just mention that if you don't have your art supplies, Miss Dachelle is going to give us the recording so you can always watch it, but she sent out to you a template. So at least you could be coloring, or your little brother and sisters could be coloring along while you paint. And so if you want to go ahead and talk about that.
So this is the art project that we are going to be working on today. Now, don't worry, I know it looks pretty complex, but we're going to be taking this in 3 different stages. So first of all, we're going to be doing the background, but one of the things that I absolutely loved working on this art piece was adding all of the color. I knew just how important color and Technicolor was when the Wizard of Oz movie first came out, and so I wanted to make sure that it looked as vivid and as bright as possible, just like in the movie. So we have the yellow brick road, which leads to the Emerald City, and then I figured I would just add a rainbow because they're over the rainbow, of course. And this is not technically poppies like in the poppy field, but I wanted to add some colorful bright flowers as well, like Miss Dachelle has in her picture. So this is what we are going to be working on.
So
Awesome.
I just popped in the comment section what we're going to do through today. And your painting will only look like that for the first section, because this is going to build on each other, the different layers.
Mhm.
So don't try to go fast. Olivia will go slow. And remember, if you can't keep up, it's being recorded, and we'll send out that link or post it to our YouTube channels or whatever. I did want to mention our little Toto. He's going to be our giveaway for, I guess Wednesday we'll do ours. And he was barking at Miss Gena because He did not like her trying to dress up like him. I mean, this actually looks like a real Cairn
It
Terrier.
does. We kept mistaking it and thinking it was one of our cats.
We had to put it in the closet in my study so that our cats and our dog wouldn't get near it because we didn't want it covered with cat hair. So it's brand new, but I did pull it out of the plastic, but we will send this one. And just to let you know, as Miss Gena said, only for continental US, the 48 states. So sorry about that, all of you who are joining us from overseas. But I'm going to shut up and let Olivia swing over her light, and Miss Dachelle can spotlight her.
I am going to go find that now. Thank you, ladies.
Perfect. All right, so just as a reminder, while we're waiting for the camera to get up, oh, here it is right here. So this is what we are going to be working on. Like I said, we'll be doing it in 3 stages, so don't worry too much about trying to get everything out right now. So what you're going to want to start out with is a canvas, or you can use watercolor paper. And I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch piece of paper today. You can also use an art journal if that's what you have on hand, but I thought that this was a really good size. And it's going to be just the perfect type of medium to get all of the different colors. So for this one, you're only going to need 5 different colors today. So we're going to be using green, which is going to be very vivid for the ground. Then we have a turquoise, which I'm going to use for the sky. And then I have some pink, which I'm going to be swirling into my green and my blue just to add more of the vivid colors. Then, of course, we have yellow for the yellow brick road. And then I have some white in order to mix in some places if I feel like it needs to be a bit more pale.
Dachelle, I'm not sure that Olivia is spotlighted on the, can y'all see her hands, or are you just still seeing our faces?
Spotlighted on mine.
Gena says that she sees it. Yes, yes, Kelsey, these are acrylic paints that I'm using. So while we're getting that sorted out, I'm just going to go ahead and pour out my paints. I'm using a generous amount of green and blue since those are going to be our main colors today. Oh, and you're also going to want a cup of water, which I have. I'm going to be using kind of a 1-inch size paintbrush today. And then I also have some paper towels so that I can wipe it off when I am cleaning my brush. So first of all, I am going to start with the ground, and this is going to be the foreground. So you want to pretty much put your paint about halfway up your page. And it doesn't actually have to be a straight line. And in fact, I might give it some curves and then, I don't know, I'll think of something. But you're just gonna sweep in your paints. And I'm just using swift brush strokes because I'm going to be mixing it in with some other colors. And this one is actually this particular shade of paint is called Shamrock, and it's one of my absolute favorites just because it's so vivid and bright. So I really like how this one turned out. So while I'm doing not the background, the foreground with the grass, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. And I'm just going to start sweeping that in. And if you need to put like a piece of plastic or paper underneath your canvas, you can. I'm just getting paint directly on the table.
We're used to keeping our tables messy.
Yes, very messy. And so pretty much I'm just going back and forth between my green and my yellow. And that's because the yellow adds a really nice touch of golden, kind of a light look to it, as if the light of the sun is reflecting on the grass. And so that's a pretty good place to start. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. And then in the meantime, I'm going to clean my brush and my water here. And there's still a little bit of green on my brush, but I don't mind because I want a lot of my colors to blend together. So then I'm going to do the same with my sky. And again, I'm not really thinking too much about it. I'm just putting the paint wherever There's white space.
You're swirling your brush strokes kind of in a curvy motion for that too.
Yeah, I guess I am. I'm just kind of doing a swirl because in the original artwork that I did, I have kind of this circular look with the rainbow. And so I kind of wanted it to mimic that, to look like all of the colors were swirling around. And as I'm looking at it here, I'm noticing that the blue is very similar to my green. So I'm going to add a little bit of white on my brush and swirl that right into the blue. And there's actually some yellow in my paint, so that might be contributing to why it looks a little bit green. But yeah, we're just going to be swirling the paint around in an almost impressionistic style, because we're not thinking too hard about making it look smooth or even, because like I said, this is just the background. And we're going to be adding a bunch of different layers. So that looks pretty fun to me. It's very messy looking, very bright and colorful. And at this point, I'm going to take just a little bit of pink. And this is to just add some more fun and whimsy. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my paintbrush and then I'm just tapping some of the excess paint off so that it's not hugely coloring the blue. And as you'll notice, when the pink mixes with the blue, it makes this kind of nice lavender, but then you still have the pink kind of standing out. And you don't have to add pink if you don't want to, but I think it adds just such a fun touch. All right, and then I'll add some blue back into it, and a little bit of white to make sure it's bright. All right. And I'm gonna try and clean off my brush as best I can, because we're gonna go back to some of our green. But because the blue and the green are so similar, what I'm actually gonna do is take my brush into the yellow, and I'm going to use it kind of for the outline. I'm just going to sweep some of the yellow here, and I'm doing it in kind of a curve to look kind of like a hill in the distance.
I like that.
Yay! So just adding a little bit more green over the top, just to make sure that it stands out nicely. And again, I'm not trying to make my paint strokes look smooth or even. I just want it to look as bright and colorful as possible. All right, and so that is going to be kind of the base coat. We'll be adding a lot more fun stuff to it tomorrow, especially the Emerald City. That's going to be one of my favorite parts for sure. But lastly, I am going to add the yellow brick road, or at least the base for it. We'll add all of the bricks and fun layers to it tomorrow, but I'm going to add a little bit more of my yellow. I got paint all over my hands. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the edge of my brush and I'm just going to start kind of long ways and then make a curved line all the way down to the front. And this is kind of to help emphasize the perspective of maybe the yellow brick road is right in front of Dorothy, but then the farther away the horizon is, the more it just gets smaller and smaller. So because my canvas is still wet, a lot of my colors are blurring together. So of course, my yellow is blending into the green a little bit. But if you let your ground have time to dry and then use your brush, then you can get the yellow into it.
No, I was just going to say there.
So yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit more yellow to brighten it up, and then I'm going to let that dry. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you really quickly. You can also take some of your regular paint, which is the same color as your ground, and you can kind of color the edge here to help distinct how far away the road is going.
And the same on this side so that the very far most part of the road is just really, really small. And then just kind of sweep your brush strokes again to make them more smooth and even. And so that is pretty much all we're going to do for the first part. Now, what you can do is you can let your piece dry and then you can add more layers if you want to. So if it dries and you can still see a little bit of patches underneath with the white, then all you need to do is go back over it with your green, and then you can maybe add in some lighter greens or darker greens or yellows and blues. And then you can add some lighter colors in the blue of the sky, and then whatever other colors you want. So that is the first part of our lesson. Awesome. All right, let me see if I can get this coupon code. There we go. If you would like to get this party guide, if you're going to participate in Miss Dachelle's Wizard of Oz book club, and if you want to carry it on and create like a scavenger hunt with your friends and neighbors and just have tons of fun party things, this code that I need to actually, were you fixing to do that for me? There we go. That code will give you $5 off the $10, so you can get it for $5. It expires Friday. So actually, y'all are the only ones that are going to get this code. I'm not going to send it out to our email list. So y'all are the lucky ones. And I think that's all we've got.
Yeah.
So
Okay, first of all, let me just say that I can just sit and watch y'all paint all day long. But it's like therapy. It's so therapeutic.
It is. It feels therapeutic when you're painting.
And I love it. And I'm a horrible painter, but that's
did
okay
mine.
because you guys have taught me that I can be
Yay! I
horrible.
love it, Gena.
Oh, Gina, you brought your supplies. You're so smart.
Yep.
And she's got her apron. I have my apron, but I'm afraid to get paint on that one.
you don't want to do that.
No. Okay, so I used a very scientific method to choose the winner. It was toss in the air and see what landed on it. So it landed on, and I'm going to say this wrong, but Doherty, Doherty. Their favorite was the Tony Bennett version. So Doherty family, if you could private message me, or if you would like to send me an email at Dachelle, that's my name, Dachelle, at hidethechocolate.com. I will be happy to get the information to Miss Gena so that she can send that to you. All right.
Congratulations.
So tomorrow, like we said, we are going to be doing another giveaway. It will be, I've lost it. Here it is. It will be my book, which has all, not this book. I will send you a nice clean version that does not have all the stuff on it, but our poetry, the poetry book of Oz. And then as Alicia said on Wednesday, oh, we have a day's messed up. Wednesday, we will be giving away Toto. And of course, all those have to be in the US because sorry, that's just how it works in life, unfortunately, in Amazon. But anyway, we are so excited that you guys joined us today. We will be back here tomorrow at the same time, same link, everything. So don't worry about changing anything, but I will send out another email if you've signed up to let you know all the links and all that. Thank you, dear. I like my butt too. And I do have my poem ready. It's written, see? So if you have your poem, feel free to share it in the chat, or feel free to pop in tomorrow with us and share it in the chat so we can have our poem, because we're going to write poems every day. And then we're going to finish up the rest of our art over the week, and we're going to talk about the rest of the music. So I'm very excited you guys can make it. Does anybody want to add anything? Is there anything I left out?
Someone said the movie Wicked. We will be talking about songs from the movie Wicked on Wednesday.
So,
And tomorrow we are dressing up as characters that Dorothy meets along the yellow brick road.
Yep.
So y'all, I saw some of y'all had dressed up, and we love seeing y'all.
Yeah, I love the guy with the green hat and the Dorothy dress. Hannah and Jacob. Yeah,
Y'all
that was so
awesome.
cute.
I'm going to
Very
remove the
fun.
spotlight so we can, if you want to share with your outfit, feel free to share your outfit so that we can all see it. I got to remove
And
myself.
Quinn and Luca, yes, we will send out the replay. I think Dachelle
Awesome.
might
You
even be
two
able
guys
to
have
do that
some great
today.
outfits. Look at
Y'all
those.
look amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that lion.
I
Taylor
know.
and Rose.
So cute.
All right, well, make sure you dress up tomorrow as people who Dorothy might meet along the way. And if you don't have an outfit, that's okay. We will have just as much fun. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.